Well, we'll take a look at what is happening during this lockdown, the national lockdown declared by the government of Ambazonia. Well, the start of the 2024-2025 academic year in the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia has been marked by uncertainty and disruption due to the ongoing war. But then the national lockdown that was declared by the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia federal government has been observed on the first day of school, resulting in largely deserted schools and a significant disruption to the education sector. We're taking a look at images. We're going to take a look at images from Boya. Well, the lockdown, which was implemented to convey a strong message to the international community about the ongoing situation, had a profound impact on the nation of Ambazonia. In key educational hubs like Bamenda and Boya, as you can see, even Montegene and other parts of Ambazonia, schools remained closed and businesses as well as public transportations were also shut down for this lockdown period. Parents, fearing for the safety of their children, opted to keep them at home, resulting in empty classrooms and a lack of activity in areas that would normally be bustling with students, which goes a long way to show the strict adherence of the national lockdown as declared by the government of Ambazonia. The southern Cameroon's Ambazonia federal government has stated countless times that it is not opposed to education, but rather prioritizes the safety and well-being of children in the conflict-affected region. And in a statement, the Secretary of State for Communications and IT, Dr. Martin Mungwa, emphasized that the government is committed to creating a conducive environment for education to resume, but that this requires a ceasefire and peaceful negotiations for separation, I beg your pardon. The ongoing war has had a devastating impact on the education sector in the nation, with many schools having been closed for extended periods, and the situation has resulted in significant learning losses for students, and there are concerns about the long-term impact on their educational outcomes and future prospect. But then, as we've heard, the government said all of those will be put in place once justice is served to Ambazonia. But in the meantime, safety is primary. In some areas, reports has it that a few private and mission schools attempted to resume, but attendance was very poor. The conflict in the southern Cameroons, now in its 8th year, has significantly disrupted education in the region. And in recent years, schools have been damaged. Teachers as well as students have also been caught in the crossfire of the war. The La Republic government has repeatedly called for schools to reopen, emphasizing the importance of education for the country's future and not to ignore the safety of Ambazonian children as well as the teachers, whose lives do not matter to the colonial regime at all. The regional governor, Bernard Okalia Belai, who refers to Ambazonians at one point as animals, recently urged parents and teachers to defy the lockdowns, describing education as a national priority. How about safety? However, his calls were met with resistance from the local population, who are seeking independence for the region. The conflict has resulted in a significant disruption to education, with many schools closed and students unable to attend classes regularly. The situation has raised concerns about the long-term impact on the education sector and the future prospects of students in the region. The region understands that the sufferings and reasons why the whole of Victoria in Ambazonia respected the lockdown today, the national lockdown today. As you can see, there are also images from Victoria that shows the Amba spirit strong. A statement released by Archbishop Andrew Nkia, where he calls for children to be allowed to go back to school peacefully, something that Dr. Martin Bungwa, the spokesperson for the Ambazonians government, reacted to. As you saw the images of the communique, a message sent out by Dr. Martin Mungwa, the Secretary of State for Communications and IT, whom emphasized that the action of Bishop Nkia have been both controversial and problematic. According to the communique, Dr. Martin Mungwa highlighted all Bishop Nkia's entire body language and attitude, which is all against the Ambazonian culture because of what the communique stated to be greed and his political ambitions.